mean, the only other thing, and honestly, the other thing I'd like to just say, apropos of the Clintons and I think potentially Cory Booker, we're going to be covering Mark Epstein more in the future. Jeffrey Epstein, excuse me. Jeffrey Epstein.
Yep.
You could call it the real Pizzagate if you want. And this was a enormously wealthy hedge fund guy who spread his money around. And this is just money. There's no clear evidence of anything else, but associated with Donald Trump. There's even a clip from back in the day where Trump said, like me, Jeffrey Epstein likes, he really likes young women. I don't know if Trump meant the literally women as young as 14 years old that Jeffrey Epstein was sexually abusing. Jeffrey Epstein also flew around Alan Dershowitz and all sorts of other influential people on his plane. And they continued to have associations with these people even after he was criminally convicted on a slap on a wrist charges.
I have the Trump quote. Terrific guy, Trump told New York Magazine back in 2002. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life.
And his social life literally involved like grooming and mass child sexual abuse.
There's a big...
I want to just say with regards to the Clintons, just quickly, and then go elaborate on it. I want a Democratic nominee where we can use Jeffrey Epstein against Donald Trump and his administration. And I want to talk about it regularly. So I don't want somebody who, and I'm not saying anything else, there is no evidence of anything else, other than Bill Clinton hung out on that plane a lot. And this is an associate. And that's one of the reasons that even if she wanted to, Hillary Clinton couldn't flip on Trump and say, I don't, forget, this or that rude comment. You're going to talk about my husband. Check this out. Oh, shit. I can't say that because my husband also hung out with that guy.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. Come on.
We need someone who cannot be made to look like a hypocrite.
Yeah, I mean,
bottom line.
Or someone who just isn't a fucking massive liability because of their associations, right?
Yeah.
They'll always try to make them look like a hypocrite. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm
this
just
is
saying,
literally
like,
the swamp.
It's way worse than hypocrisy. Like, that's there.
Yeah, we need to turn over the tables in the swamp.
We need to turn over the tables
Indeed.
in the swamp.
I love this Nathan Bernard. Shout out to Nathan Bernard.
Shout out to Nathan
He's the
Bernard.
anti-IDW bulldog.
Yeah, he sure is.
He posted this yesterday. The silence from Pizzagate fanatics, Bumblejack and Posobiec and Weird Mike and Weird Mike Cernovich on Jeffrey Epstein is deafening. Really disappointed in them. And this is so true because look, I know that I'm on wax here on Majority Report of saying like there's a get this isn't coming up during the campaign.
Yep.
And it's because they're both tainted by it. Because if Trump wasn't tainted by it, he would 100% have been tweeting out the links of Bill Clinton to Epstein, right? He totally would have been doing that. And it was one of the more interesting things to watch in terms of that mudslinging, that they both kept their hands off of it. Because we
call the truce on Epstein.
And
we all agree.
And we can play this game where it's like Hillary. It's not Bill. It's Hillary, right?
Get the fuck out of here with that. I don't have time. You know what? If you come to me in 2000, I'm sorry, finish your point. But I'm just going
to say that's fucking over.
Yeah, it's over, and it never was. Because the thing about people who wanted to make those arguments was it's like, look, the reality of Hillary Clinton's political career. First of all, it's a partnership. And it goes both ways. There's no doubt that Bill Clinton would not be where he was in many respects and have what he had without her intelligence and strategic insight. Okay, it's a partnership, and so you
made your bed sleep.
You made your bed sleep, and you can't simultaneously go, well, Hillary Clinton did all of these incredible things, and she was part of this and that as first lady and as a partner of the president. But anytime you talk about his behavior, his associations, and what they did as a political collective, then all of a sudden, no, she's not part of it, and you're using her husband to get her. Get the fuck out of here. No. It's all or nothing. Either she was pure window dressing who did nothing and wasn't part of his political accomplishments, which is untrue, ahistorical, and sexist, or they were a political team that did everything together. And certainly at the very least, she was complicit in it. And, everybody's seen the picture with her and Trump and her husband. Like, just stop. Like, stop the pseudo woke defense of nonsense before it starts in 18, because I will be even less polite than I was in 16. Like, miss me with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little torn about it, to be honest. Like, I think she's absolutely complicit in everything political that he did. But in terms of his, like, gross, douchey behavior with women, I don't know.
But Jeffrey Epstein is an example. Well, I mean, I don't agree with you, but we can table that. I'm saying Jeffrey Epstein, money was flowing to them. Jets were being used for things. So I'm not even saying
If you fly on the Lolita
yeah,
Express.
that's fair.
If you
when
fly
you
on
account for the
Yeah.
money part and the political connections, certainly.
Well, and also just, I mean, but even in general, like, yeah, like, I don't, like, if you know and you are, like, your husband flies in the Lolita Express and you know it and everybody knows it.
Yeah, and
I'm
did Bill
sorry.
Clinton-
That's not just like, oh, that's his
I think it's
business.
really dark. Like,
Yeah, that's
honestly.
actually
Yeah.
super dark. And we don't, you know, look, we keep saying we don't know. Maybe Bill Clinton's behavior was totally above board on the Lolita Express. But
Yeah.
maybe it wasn't. And I'm not willing.
The hell of an oversight
Yeah.
for an ex-president to
Yeah,
make.
I'm just
I'm
yeah.
just saying, like, husbands hide all sorts of shit from their wives.
No, it wasn't. If I knew in 2012 about those flights, she knew about those
I mean,
flights.
I guess if Sean were revealed to have flown on the Lolita Express, I might have some questions for him.
But
Maybe wouldn't want to hitch my wagon to his anymore.
everybody knew that he was flying on the Lolita Express for years, I guess is my point. And not even to mention the whole money dimension.
Yeah, that's whack.
They're a package.
It was
They're
a different time.
It's a totally different time.
You could fly on planes with 14-year-olds.
You
No
could
one would
fly,
say anything.
yeah.
I mean, okay, not saying anything.
Yeah,
that we know
allegedly.
anything.
Allegedly.
Yeah, they did name the plane after a book about child rape, so that right there should be a pretty big red flag.
Yeah.
That was not just about child rape. It was an examination of aesthetics.
Vladimir,
all of you.
Vladimir Nabokov has great prose, and that is what I think Jeffrey appreciated in Lolita.
That's what Jeffrey appreciated. That's what my husband appreciated.
Humbert actions are different from how beautiful it is to hear him describe, for instance, a mural on a ceiling.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm going to get nauseous.
I don't know. I guess like the vestigial liberal feminist in me sometimes gets defensive when she's held responsible for his grossness. But you know what? She's gross too, so.
And I don't even know it's responsible. It's just connected. Like, she's not responsible. Like, if somebody said, hey, it's because of Hillary Clinton that Bill Clinton's on that plane.
She told
yes,
me.
I agree. She forced me. I didn't want to
She
be
buys
on-
all my plane tickets.
She said, you get on that. I said, those girls look
It's just-
mighty young. And she said, you get on that plane or I'll
Actually,
kill you.
This
Just
is
like
an
I did
interesting.
Vince
I think
Foster.
this brings up an interesting distinction, right? Like, it's not about responsibility,
Yeah, it's
but
not
it's about
responsible.
accurately assessing real liabilities that exist anyway, regardless of whether she's responsible for them or not.
Precisely.
Yeah, she made a cost-benefit analysis
Precisely.
somewhere down the line.
And what was so amazing and bizarre about Clinton's is this bizarre culture arose around them, particularly in 2016, where it was like, on one hand, like, I mean, we already know like the myth of competence and the myth of that they're effective in all of this, and her efficacy. Obviously, that myth is totally is destroyed. But there was also just this weird, like, you know, it was like yeah, like, oh, you know, we got to go with them. They're serious. She knows how to take the fight to them. They know how to win. And then on the other hand, like, actually in this, I have to say, frankly, a way that was totally disrespectful of her. It might have meant like effective short-term silly point scores on Twitter, but like, no, excuse me. Hillary Clinton is one of the most powerful, sophisticated operators in modern American politics. Therefore,
That's how she's sewed up the nomination.
Right. Therefore, we talk about her involvement in things politically, and all of a sudden people, it was like the same way, like, you know, oh, Hillary Clinton, she's a boss. She can destroy anybody. Whoa, Bernie Sanders disagreed with her on the debate stage. Totally inappropriate. Like, people had this weird,
yeah, well, they
bizarre.
have no scruples.
I mean, some of them have no scruples. Some of them actually genuinely had like a whacked, incoherent double consciousness, where on one hand it was like she was the ultimate slay queen and then also just like the perpetual victim.
Whereas
both of those narratives are actually sexist and inaccurate to a very flawed, very complicated, and ultimately failed, but certainly sophisticated, ruthless, smart, and at times very effective political operator.
She herself used to cite what I thought was one of Nixon's best touches, the man in the arena thing, right? Like,
Yes.
we're public officials. Like, this is what this is.
Right.
And so the people that are like, stop making fun of Hillary or leave her alone, leave Brittany alone, sort of thing. Like, this isn't the woman. Like, you don't know.
Don't run
Hillary.
for president.
You don't know her though. You're defending her. She'd like scoff at this sort of pathetic defensiveness about a public official.
And that was what was, and in fact, and that in some ways you could actually, I think you can measure some of the responses to her, because I actually, lifelong not Hillary Clinton fan, but anytime she actually could, and this is where it was pure sexism, no doubt. But sometimes when she would like break her, I remember, I can never find this clip. In 2007, she's in New Hampshire campaigning against Obama. And I mean, no love for her, right? I'm like in college, loving Barack Obama, hating Hillary Clinton. And Chris Matthews, though, like even at that time, and even with all of my many blind spots as a straight man, which I will own, I could be like, Chris Matthews is a little weird when he talks about Hillary Clinton. And he was at an event, and by a little weird, I mean like incredibly misogynist. And so he was at an event in New Hampshire, and Hillary's campaigning, and he's like, he's got the mic. He's like, Hillary, like, why would you come on my show? And she comes over to him, and she has like this smirk on her face. She's like, oh, I won't come on your show. I wonder why. And she gives him this like condescending pat on the head. And I remember being like, I would still not vote for her. But if this is what Hillary Clinton, like if this is what she's about, I like that shit.
Yeah.
No, she's
that's cool. But and that's totally the part where she's a victim of sexism. She could not be, I'm actually like a grouchy old person who doesn't have time for Chris Matthews bullshit. And that is totally the total gender dynamics that she couldn't do that. 100%.
I mean, she's a
100%.
tough ass bitch. I respect her for that. I wish she were on our side.
Yeah, but we can respect her, but her for being a tough ass woman, right? But when her defenders are all of a sudden like that same woman who did all of this stuff,
The Benghazi hearings.
yeah, and then all of a sudden, it was, Bernie Sanders interjected a point. I mean, she might need her smelling
Look at the
salts.
way Bernie's gesticulating.
Yeah,
up
I mean,
there.
just the way that they were so inadvertently. I mean, the people need to watch that in general. Like be anti-essentialist in your feminism as well. And my God, don't treat Hillary Clinton like a fucking like she's going to be on a fainting couch for having a debate. It's pathetic.
No, that's ridiculous. But back one point to the Jeffrey Epstein thing, like Pizzagate is obviously crazy and untrue, but like there's a grain of truth to it.
I think
And
the Catholic
they
Church would
bear
probably
quite a
demonstrate
bit
this.
of responsibility
Mamma
for,
mia, me need a pizza.
for, kicking it off. And it's become like an extremely destructive thing in our politics. So maybe don't fly on the Lolita Express and then turn around and express shock and horror that this conspiracy theory is going around.
And
Indeed.
furthermore,
Yeah,
if
totally.
we've happened to attract any Pizzagators in the YouTubes with this clip, because we're going to clip this, maybe wonder why or what Posobiec and Mike Cernovich are hiding by not covering a story that should so obviously be on their beat. I mean, there's
Indeed.
even a Clinton angle of it.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, this is a story that I am sure if you dug into that story, it could probably implicate not only Democrats, but I mean, who knows? Ivy League professor, all sorts of people that you culturally signify against all day.
I'd like to,
might end up, and you know what? That would be great.
if you can get all the manifests to the Lolita Express, love to see them.
Indeed. Whoever brings them forward. If you have an actual report, if it's real, I'll link to Breitbart if you bring that out.
I mean, if Breitbart runs it, they're just going to post the Clinton stuff.
No, totally. Exactly. Well, that's why I say if, because I never want to post to Breitbart, so I know I can easily avoid that. All right.